Hello people, welcome to the Arsenal Art, another live stream. As I said, we're going to start doing these live streams more and more often. Yeah, so today we have got another live stream. We're going to talk about transfers, we're going to talk about, Arsenal in general, the season that's just gone, even though we've talked about it quite a few times. Obviously not happy as a fan. But yeah, we'll talk about some of the transfers, what's gone down over the last few days, over the last few hours as well. I'm seeing some big movements in the window that could affect us in the end. As I said, even in the title, if you guys have seen it, obviously talking about Mbuemo. Mbuemo was a player linked to Arsenal from Brentford. Apparently now Man United are sniffing about him. And right now, just read as well, they look like they could be getting a lot of money from Saudi Arabia for Bruno Fernandes. So if those two things happen, that could be another player potentially not on the market for Arsenal if we don't obviously move quickly. But yeah, a lot to talk about. So many different stories, honestly, recently in terms of Arsenal Football Club. It does get the clicks, obviously, from the media and stuff, and there's a lot of interest in what's happening. But yeah, man, before we do start, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button as always if you haven't already. And yeah, big up everyone who's liking, big up everyone who's subscribing. Massively does help the channel. Yeah, so big up everyone. And yeah, man, let's just get this party started. So boom. So yeah, let's go straight into it, man. First news of the day, we have Viktor Gyokeres here. We'll have two little pieces about him, one little clip as well, just about to play after this one. But yeah, the first bit of news from Gyokeres a couple hours ago now, it's actually coming out, just talking about recapping what's happened. So Arsenal apparently have had officials in Lisbon over the weekend. They met with his agent, Hassan Çetinkaya. I'm assuming he's obviously a Turkish fella. And yeah, transfer fee apparently is 70 million euro fee, which is obviously fixed figure. I think that's about 66 million pounds. 12 million pounds signing on bonus and euro signing on bonus and 7 million euros in wages as well. So I'm not sure someone do the quick maths, on his wages there and what that means weekly. But yeah, agent meeting with the sporting president soon as well. So his agent gonna meet with the sporting agent, apparently obviously discussing his potential move away from the club, and it does look like he is going to leave. So yeah, this is after Sporting actually came back to beat Benfica. I believe ended 3-1 in the end. They were losing last minute, I think it was like 10 minutes plus added time. Gyokeres wins a penalty, scores, puts them ahead. And yeah, man, hopefully it does just change a page. And you guys, let me just double check. Yeah, you guys should be able to now see what's happening here. So yeah, let's give this a little listen, ask him about potentially what's going to be happening with him. And this is from Sport TV Portugal. So let's give it a listen.
Yeah, it's football. You never know what's going to happen in the summer. So for me to say anything else than that is impossible.
But the rumors that are going on about Arsenal, do you know anything about it?
I don't know. I just focus on this. I try to focus on these last games because they've been so important. I don't want to think about anything else. If anything is true, let's see in the summer, as I said.
So yes, people, if anything is true, let's see in the summer from Gyokeres himself. Obviously, he's not going to come out saying, yeah, 100%, I'm joining this team. As I said, you don't really know as a player exactly where you're going to go until it's finally done. Obviously, his agent's involved and all of that. So yeah, man, it's an interesting situation for us. I think we need to be getting him done, man. We need to get Gyokeres done. Let me just go in the comments here. We got Halimi70 saying, big up, bro, big up yourself as well. Remember when you started keep up the good content, man. Big up, man, for the kind words, man. So yeah, as I said, we'll be coming with more and more content, especially over the summer. Like, channel settled now. We have the name, we have things going, we know what direction it's going in, so we can keep it moving now. So yeah, that's what it's all about now. So yeah, big up, man. Really appreciate your comment there. But yeah, man, let's keep it moving, man. As I said, with Gyokeres, man, I think it's just so clear for us. Like, it's such a simple deal in terms of, I'm not talking about the numbers, the money. Obviously, it seems, to be honest, right, there's other transfer news. I thought it was fake news at one point. Ekitike to Chelsea as well. That's about 60, 70, if that's even real. As I said, like, sometimes I'm reading things. I looked at the account that said it. It looked like a parody. But then I've seen other accounts from the same athletic sort of source coming with the same thing. So yeah, I can go verify that soon. But yeah, in terms of just Gyokeres, man, honestly, it is just a simple transfer for Arsenal to do in terms of it makes sense, man. There's actually an image yesterday that I saw that is so ridiculous. Let me actually get it up. It's so ridiculous. It just shows like we as a club, like Arsenal Football Club, we are not serious, man, if we don't sign this guy. Let me just try to find this image. Basically, it just showed how many goals he scored between how many games he's played and the assists he's had. And as I said, I think I said it in another stream as well, where, sporting fans themselves, a lot of them are saying that this is the best player they've ever seen. This is not a scrub club. It's a big club. But yeah, man, let's look at this. Look at this. I've got it up now. Look at this. Yeah, I don't speak Portuguese, but I don't need to. 102 jogos. Yeah, I'm guessing that's games. Yeah, jogos. Jogador. Yeah, jour. In French, yeah. 97 goals. 27 assists. Are you guys seeing this? Are you seeing these numbers? Like, it doesn't matter what league you're playing in. Obviously, there's a certain degree where it does matter. But this kid's a guy playing for a big club. I know it's not a top 5 league, but it's a big club. He's been doing it in the Champions League. He's available for 65-ish million pounds. He's built like a tank. I don't know if people have seen the way this guy is built. Yeah, on pause and all of that, right? But this guy, he's strong. He is strong. He's a strong runner. He's physically dominant, with his centre backs and stuff like that. You can't push him off the ball. And as I said, the way he shoots the ball, doesn't matter what league you're playing in. When you have that level of ball striking, for me, that just screams that you're a top player. So I don't know. As I said, for me, it's so clear. It's just so clear. It's so obvious. But for me, yeah, man, Gyokeres, hands down, it's something I would do. Let me have a look here. My guy Sammy in the comments saying him versus Alvarez. Okay. So now, listen, Alvarez, we're going to talk about Alvarez. I was going to save that because these are reports coming from Spain. I've seen them bubbling, Marca especially, talking about how Arsenal, interested in Alvarez. Earlier on, to be honest, right in the window, oh, sorry, not in the window, the last few months, there's been reports that, the likes of Liverpool were interested in signing Julian Alvarez. Obviously, from Man City, him and Haaland, that was a bit of a myth for Pep Guardiola to figure out who's going to play, right? It wasn't that Alvarez was a bad player and somehow, he's left the Premier League. No, Alvarez was a top striker. We all know he's a top striker. And I think now we've seen, obviously, him going to Atleti. I feel like Atleti, for me, personally, as someone who likes Julian Alvarez, I do think Atleti is his kind of club. I think with Simeone, I think with, obviously for him from Argentina, Simeone, same thing, Spain, Madrid. I feel like the way they play, I feel like Alvarez for me suits Atleti in a lot of ways. So in a way, I would happily have him at Arsenal, but I do feel like it would be a bit of a shame from Atleti side if somehow he, left them. But yeah, you know what? Since we're talking about him, let me try to find what they've been saying about Julian Alvarez, because it is a signing. If I did hear somehow that is happening to Arsenal, you're going to be excited, man. You're going to be excited. He's someone who can play multiple, he can play all across the front three, really. But obviously, for me, centre forward, that's where he's thriving. And even with someone like Mikel Arteta, or even any modern manager, he can do a bit more than just, get goals. He can offer a lot more. As I said, he's a flexible player. And that's why even in the end, with Haaland, right, he would be playing behind the striker sometimes. He'd be playing on the left for Man City. But yeah, let me just get this little piece up here, because it is an interesting bit of news. So yeah, it says here, this is from Marca. I think my head's blocking it, but it's from Marca. Arsenal are the team that is pushing the hardest to sign Julian Alvarez. The former Atletico director, Andrea Berta, knows perfectly what the former Man City striker can bring and has put his name among the priorities for the window. So if we are to believe these reports, it's all speculation. I'm not sure why as I said, for me, I'm not sure why there's rumours about Alvarez, because as I said, he just joined Atleti. Atleti for me seemed like a place where he can settle down. He can play there for the next 3, 4, 5 years, with no issues. He can keep developing as a player. If Simeone doesn't leave, things just keep progressing. Atleti are still going to be in and around there, right? But there's been this pull. As I said a few months ago, it was Liverpool after Alvarez. So I don't know if it's coming from here, because sometimes it's weird. The media can't just fully I don't know. I say they can't fully make things up, but sometimes in Spain and Italy, I feel like they're just making stuff up sometimes. But with this one in particular, because there's been murmurs the past few months, it's just making me think that maybe it's not Alvarez himself, but maybe it's his agent trying to play a little game, trying to say, okay, listen, we wanted the Premier League initially. Man City was a choice we made because he went on tour. If you guys remember when he came to England from River Plate, Julian Alvarez, I'm pretty sure he went to like so many clubs around the world. I'm pretty sure he went to Milan. I feel like he went to Dortmund. Definitely, I'm sure he had a meeting with like Man United. I don't think he had a meeting with Arsenal. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he did. I don't remember hearing anything about that at that point. But then Man City, obviously, he ends up meeting them. He ends up falling in love, so to speak, with that project at the time. But it just didn't work out. Erling Haaland's there. Haaland is not flexible. That guy cannot play any other position but number 9 through the middle. So you, Alvarez, you have to work around that. We spend the big money on Haaland. He's the main striker. Doesn't matter how good you play, you're going to always be second fiddle at Man City. So maybe from Alvarez's perspective, right, he's looking at saying, listen, I wanted to play in the Premier League. I wanted to have my shot there, but I actually didn't. I wasn't able to show what I was actually good at in the Premier League for the most part. Obviously, he had his flashes here and there, and we saw his quality. You know, we see it for Argentina, you know. And then again, this season, man, just what a player. That game was recently against Real Madrid, and the way he's hit the... Like, again, we talk about ball striking. I talk about Gyokeres. I talk about Alvarez now. And the reason I'm fixated on ball striking is because when we watch Arsenal as fans, right, I'm not seeing this sort of ball striking. We see it once in a blue moon now, Odegaard, you know, Southampton, end of the season, when it doesn't matter, right? But in general, the team's level of ball striking is low. And someone like Alvarez really, really, really adds to it. So yeah, for me, I'll happily take Alvarez at the club. But as I said, I'll put it in the unlikely category. I put it very unlikely. Why would he leave Atleti at this point? It just doesn't make sense for me. He just signed there. He's got the good manager. He's in a country where he knows the language fully. He's in an environment that he's settled in. And as I said, the club he's at, yeah, it's a club that does well with strikers. But as I said, we've got Andrea Berta now. So obviously he knows about him. He's the one who put the money in. Was key player in taking him from Man City to Atleti in the first place. So if there's any chance we can get him in, we take advantage. We bring him in and we give him that position where he can show his ability every single week. But for me, first choice at this point, it's still Gyokeres. And yeah, if someone like Alvarez does become available, go for it. 100%, man. Sammy in the chat here saying, Lukaku is better than Alvarez. Yes, I said it. Oh, I don't know about that, bro. Lukaku, yeah, fair play to him. You know what? Small praise on Lukaku. We're speaking about him recently, obviously, after, you know, Napoli winning the league. And what he's done for himself in Italy, fair play, man. You know, Everton, Lukaku, monster player. When he was slimmer, a bit younger, quick. You know, I don't know what it was at Everton, because even at West Brom when he went on loan, it was a bit more... He was still moving, like he was running, he was beating players, he was doing all sorts. But Everton Lukaku in England was the prime Lukaku. But I don't know about better than Alvarez. Good striker. But yeah, fair play to him, as I said, for what he's done in Italy, the titles he has. I think by the time he finishes his career, you know, when Lukaku is finished, right, and all of the hate has sort of subsided from, you know, let's say United fans or Chelsea fans and, you know, critics, right, and people just see how many trophies have you won, how many goals have you scored for your national team, people will respect Lukaku so much. And Sammy's saying Isak is the guy to get. Bro, I don't want to talk about Isak. Like, everyone knows. Isak, original first choice. But Aston Villa, yeah? I don't know, who should I blame? Unai Emery? Should I blame the referee? Should I blame Emi Martinez? I'll blame Emi Martinez, number one. They cost us trying to get Isak. Because if Newcastle finished outside of the Champions League places, I am sure we would have done a little something, because now Newcastle is a complete myth. You're not going to get Isak this summer. You know, he's going to stay there. They've got Champions League football. They don't need the money. And Newcastle are building something very, very interesting. And that actually takes me on to this next point, guys. So let's go into it. And that's about Mbuemo. Because not only was Mbuemo linked with Arsenal recently, I saw the links and I didn't, I wasn't able to do a video at that point, right? But Mbuemo was also linked with Newcastle, man, for a long time, man. Let me try to find an article on this, because he was linked to Newcastle first out of anyone, right? And then Arsenal was about last week. They were saying, oh, Arsenal, you know, they like Mbuemo, and I'm sure we do. I'm sure we like Mbuemo. So let me get this up. It's actually from, I don't even rate these guys, but it is what it is. TalkSport. It will do a job. It will do a job for us. So you just talk on it. So here, Mbuemo, to see, even in the picture, right, they put here Newcastle, Arsenal, and then obviously now Manchester United, right, held talks with the Brentford forward, you know, Bryan Mbeumo, the Bees winger, blah blah blah, has enjoyed most productive season. I believe he scored what, 20 goals. That's ridiculous. I think him and Wissa, did they both score 20? I think they both hit. I've never seen that before, you know. Two mid-table guys hitting these sort of numbers. So yeah, apparently I don't know. Someone confirm if Wissa as well was part of the 20. I haven't checked, but I know Mbuemo hit 20 this year. So yeah, featuring in all of Brentford's 38 matches, which for me, massive, very very fit. You know, very very available. And there's something funny I actually want to show you guys about Mbuemo. And it was, people are saying, you know what? Actually, sometimes this is why, you know, I give it hate a lot of the time, like football, Twitter, or whatever. But one person made a great point, and it was, they quoted a picture of Mbuemo back in day, and his hairline's looking good, and his beard's looking good. And I don't know if he's trimmed his hair this low on purpose, or if it's just a case where it's disappearing, yeah. But they were saying, listen, if this guy looked good, I'm not saying he looks bad, by the way. I'm saying if he looked good in terms of the trim and the beard, and, you know, just having this sort of aura, so to speak, and he was still representing France, not Cameroon. Listen, he'll be linked to so many big teams in the world. He'll be linked to the likes of Real Madrid. He'll be linked to the likes of Barcelona. You know, he'd be more heavily linked to the big clubs in England. But, you know, there's a bit of a, he scored 20 goals, but what's his trim saying? Honestly, I think there's a little thing in that. There's a little thing in that, because sometimes there is a, you know, perception is a big thing. We talk about it in football all the time, where people are like, okay, Bukayo Saka. I hear it all the time. Oh, he's not good. Like, some people tell me he's not good. When you watch the game, someone like Saka, 99% of the time, he's making the right decision. He's holding up the ball well. He's creating chances. Always a danger. Defenders are scrambling. But somehow, because he's not looking in some sort of particular way that they want to put a winger to look like, right? They don't want to rate him. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I think there is something to that, unfortunately, in this modern game, or just life in general, man. But yeah, let's keep going here. So obviously he scored in the last game, and he's only got 1 year left on his deal. So this is very interesting. So yeah, Brentford are definitely going to have to sell him, especially he's not going to sign a new deal at Brentford, I'd imagine. So yeah, if Mbuemo plays his cards right, he will be leaving this summer. I think that's the biggest part here to put in, and Brentford value Mbuemo around the £50 million mark. So I think, honestly, I'm worried. I'm worried in the sense that I'm worried if Newcastle get him the most. So let's talk about what team Mbuemo would suit the most. You let him go Newcastle, we've got serious issues on our hands for next season. Like, we're trying to fight for the league. I think Newcastle getting Mbuemo, they stay injury free. It might just be a case where it's too many games because of Champions League, and it will just affect them that way. But I'm telling you now, you get Gordon, Isak, and Mbuemo front three with that midfield they got behind them. We're in serious issues. Like, the whole league is in serious issues, right? Man United, though, they're getting this money. So let me show you guys this thing now from just a few minutes ago about Al Hilal and all of this sort of stuff. Man United, man, they're making moves. So they got Cunha in, or I believe it's about £62 million. So £62 million for Cunha. And then now they've got a big offer from Saudi Arabia for Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno Fernandes himself, you know, after the game against Tottenham in the Europa League, he was saying, listen, if the club want to sell me, it is what it is. I don't mind. I don't mind leaving. Basically, that's what he said. So maybe for Bruno's point of view in this 31, I think Bruno still got a lot of years to play in Premier League, to be honest, right? So for me, on the football side of things, I don't think Bruno should be going to Saudi unless it's just to, cash in, get the money. And I understand that as well. If you want to do that, no problem. Everyone has a right to choose what they want to do. But in terms of playing top level football, I think Bruno can play for another 3-4 years. Easy. Could even play a bit longer. So I don't know from his point of view whether it's actually a good idea to go to Saudi Arabia, and maybe that's why this 72 hours to decide if it's going to happen or not is, this ultimatum has been given to him, because maybe he's like me and he's thinking, listen, I can still play. I can still play for a big team in England. He can play for a big team abroad. I don't think he needs to be going to Saudi Arabia right now. But let's just say on the off chance he does, Man United need the money anyway. Let's call it £70 million. I don't know how much it's going to be. Let's call it £70 million. They get that in for Bruno Fernandes. They're laughing. Because now they can just go and spend that 50 million straight, bang it on Mbuemo and Cunha, and all of a sudden United are looking like a bit of a different proposition. You got Mbuemo, you got Cunha, you've got Ahmad. They're starting to look like a decent attacking unit again. The quality of the team has definitely improved. Obviously, from this season, even though I banter them and I'm like, listen, relegation next season for Man United surely can't get worse than this year for them. So I'm worried. I'm a little worried about that. Obviously, if Mbuemo went to United, it is what it is. Like, I would happily take him, because at Arsenal, where would we play Mbuemo, guys? Where would we play Mbuemo? We could play him false 9, but we could also play him, a lot of the times to give Saka a rest, or we can move Saka somewhere else if we want to do something different. Saka can play multiple positions as well. It just gives us options. So that's what I like. I like the idea of signing Mbuemo, because for £50 million, you've got someone who's really fit, top speed, physical athlete, knows how to play in the Premier League already, and technically in front of goal, whether it's goals, whether it's assists, we see him doing damage. We see him doing damage for a team like Brentford, where most of the time they don't hold the ball. They have to play on the counter. They play different ways, a bit of a chameleon team in a way. Thomas Frank, top manager. I love the way he plays with his teams, the setups, the different ways that they set up, different game states. I enjoy everything about their team, right? And you bring someone like that, with that sort of experience, 25 years old, you bring him to Arsenal Football Club, and you bring a different dimension to our attack and our squad options as well. So I think for us, for £50 million, that's a good sign. I think it's a bargain, because another thing, Mr. Mikel Arteta, you think I forgot? Even Ornstein reminded me yesterday. This guy missed out on Hoyson or Houston, however you want to say his name is. £50 million signing. Obviously went to Real Madrid now, centre back. This brother was willing to spend £50 million. Yeah, on a centre back. We have Kiwior, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White. We've got Timber. We've got how many Tomiyasu when he comes back? How many players can play centre back? You want to buy another one? So that same £50 million that you wanted to spend on a centre back, use that money and go and get me an Mbuemo. Get me someone who can play false 9, who can play on the right wing position. But instead, we'll be sitting here, dilly-dallying, waiting to see what striker we even targeting in the first place. And then, again, you see a Newcastle, you see a Man United going and just taking the player. Well, we're just sitting around, because £65 million for Gyokeres, £50 million for Mbuemo. That's even way less money than what we were talking about just splashing on Isak in the first place. So for me, that just makes sense in my head. So I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I do think Mbuemo and Gyokeres, we're in business now. 2 players, 25, 26. They're about to enter their prime. Now they are maturing physically as men, as players. They've got the experience from playing in, obviously Mbuemo in the Premier League, Gyokeres in the Championship, and now in Portugal as well. Experience. And now they're hungry to win big trophies. I think for me, these 2 signings, about £115 million or whatever it is, 110, whatever it is, and then you bring them in. Right? Big up Matthew in the chat as well. He says, hello, mate. Hello to you as well. He says, Mbuemo would be a perfect signing for us. That's an ideal signing, and I agree with you 100%. Genuinely, I think that would be a top signing for Arsenal Football Club, man. If we can do an Mbuemo, man. If we can do an Mbuemo and a Gyokeres, that's what we should be doing. Don't dilly-dally. That's why I don't like this whole Sesko thing. Even though I like Sesko's potential, I like what Sesko can offer us in the future, I'm just not a fan of I'm just not a fan of this whole, oh, he's 21, 22. He's just come to the league. He needs some time to adapt. And then we're 6 months into the league. The guy's not scoring enough goals. He's getting dropped for Kai Havertz. You know, Jesus has come back. He's taking some of his minutes as well. And we're like, what's going on here? This is not what we signed up for. And we spent a lot of money as well on someone like him. So I think it's clear. You bring players that are going to come in now and do the business straight away, man. Do the business straight away. But yeah, guys, man, before we talk about some more transfers, I just want to touch on very quickly in terms of just the season last gone for Arsenal Football Club, where we need to improve. I know it's kind of like beating a dead horse sometimes when I talk about Arteta. But I feel like every day I'm just waking up, I'm just like, Arteta's still the manager. You know, even though I know a lot of Arsenal fans, maybe the majority, you know, they love Mikel. I don't know why. I don't know why they love him, but they do love him. You know, a lot of them believe he is the generational manager. You know, there's a lot of propaganda in this world, and that's one of them. You know, they believe this guy is top. But yeah, for me, I said it before the season. I don't know why I should change now, because before the season, I think I spoke to any Arsenal fan, even Arteta inners, whatever you call them, right? And I'm not an outer or an inner, I'm just an Arsenal fan. So if Arteta does well, somehow he stays next season, wins Premier League, wins Champions League, I'm not complaining, right? But I said it before the season. This is my opinion. I said before the season, if Arteta doesn't win us the Premier League or the Champions League in the 2024-2025 season, just time to go. It doesn't matter if you guys think he is the next generational manager. Maybe Arsenal's not the one for him. Maybe he can do that somewhere else. No problem. But for us as a club, we've got to find someone who's willing or able and capable to take the team over the line. Right now, I'll give Arteta credit for maybe just a few things. And if you look here, last result, guys, Arsenal 2, Southampton 1. Obviously, big up Kieran Tierney as well. My guy, Kieran Tierney, should have been Arsenal captain, man. We had it all written out for you, man. It was all written out. Kieran Tierney was going to be the next Arsenal captain. But, you know, just like with injuries and Arsenal Football Club, the history of that with so many players, it's affected him as well. So, yeah, man, big up Tierney, though, for his contribution to the club in general. You know, when he came in with his Sesko bag, you know, FA Cup win as well when he first came in. I think it was the game against, was it Man City? The assist for Aubameyang. I know it was lockdown period then, but yeah, big up Tierney, man. Big up Tierney, man. It's like what a shame. It's like what could have been, but very good player. I'm assuming, obviously, I don't know if it's been announced. If anyone knows, I'm pretty sure he's going back to Celtic. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. But yeah, man, big up Kieran Tierney. But yeah, guys, Arsenal Football Club this season. So there's a few things we need to talk about. Here. So, first of all, one stat that came out after the season's ended now, and hopefully, I don't know if I should even go up, I'll just say it anyway. No Arsenal player apparently has scored over 10 goals this season in the league, right? And that's the first time that has happened since 1923, 1924. Yeah? Do you know what the world was saying back in 1923, 1924? I don't even think some of my grandparents were alive them times. 1923, 1924. That's the last time Arsenal have failed to score, like a player has failed to score over 10 goals in the league, right? Somehow, though, we've got a plus 35 goal difference, 74 points in the end. On paper, now you'll say, oh, 10 points behind Liverpool, could have been worse. But let's be honest, Liverpool, these guys are not playing football for the last few weeks. Liverpool, and quickly shout out, by the way, anyone affected by what happened yesterday in the Liverpool celebrations. You know, terrible scenes. Like, big up as well the Liverpool like people that I've seen helping out each other, giving each other lifts, all of that. Love to see that. So yeah, just quickly shout out on that, because yesterday, a day of happiness and celebration, someone's gone and just been an absolute, prefer not to speak, throw him under the jail, whatever you have to do, man. But yeah, big up the Liverpool people, right? But us guys now, sorry, just going back to what we're talking about, 10 points behind Liverpool. On paper, not looking as bad as you think it does look. But as I said, no goals. And if you look at our squad now, right, and this is what we need to talk about, and this is why I'm screaming every second, bring in the proper attackers. Bring in the attackers that are going to make a difference to the club. Because Kai Havertz, for example, is an issue. We have to be honest, and I'm talking about Arteta potentially. I'm parking Arteta to the side right now, because Arteta, at the end of the day, leave, stay, whatever, it's not my issue. It's not my issue at all. right? But this guy here, Kai Havertz, he's getting paid how much? 350k a week. Do you trust Kai Havertz? Big game, do or die. Champions League semi-final. Is he gonna rise? No. He struggles in the normal games. In the normal games, I'm looking at him, bro. We're playing with 10 men. You know, there's an odd game where you lump him up front and he'll do a bit of decent hold-up play. But you know the worst thing about Havertz this season is the fact that he got injured. And then this brother, Mikel Merino, went up front. And Mikel Merino, for me, was 100 times better than Kai Havertz. Right? So for me, Mikel Arteta, please, if you're going to stay at this club, just bring in players that will displace the ones that you brought before. The mistakes that you brought up front, the likes of Havertz, is a mistake. So go and make a Gyokeres signing. Go and make an Mbuemo signing. You talk about Trossard now. I'm hearing Trossard now. There was all the reports before. He's leaving. He's leaving. He's not leaving. Right? Trossard is going to stay at Arsenal Football Club. And for me, you know what? When I think about it, I don't really care. He can stay. He can stay, providing that we sign the top player to play, you know, week in, week out. Trossard can stay. You can be on the bench. You can do a Zinchenko season. No problem. You can do a Zinchenko season. You play a few minutes here and there. You help us when we need you to help us. Help us in the cups, FA Cup, League Cup, because that's another problem now. Arsenal Football Club, how many seasons without a trophy? It's not good enough. We need to be competitive on all fronts. So yeah, I'm okay with keeping Trossard, but don't use Trossard staying as an excuse not to sign a winger. You know what I mean? Martinelli, another player. Of course, I always say Martinelli, regardless what anyone says, I always chill on the criticism because I feel like the way he gets abused by Mikel Arteta's football, him and Saka, I got loads of sympathy for them. You can't watch Arsenal Football Club and, in my opinion, hate these guys too much, especially Martinelli. You know, Saka's the best player at the club, so I just put he's in a different convo. But Martinelli runs tirelessly for the club, up and down the left wing, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, a few games ago, he plays down the middle. He's looking like a problem. You know, let Martinelli do what he does best. Let him be a danger. I think, listen, if we had developed him properly, right now it would have been a serious player. I feel like this system, the way we play, does kind of hinder him in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. Squad player. You know, with the Arteta system, you need the top. To make it work for Mikel, you need to buy the best of the best in class. So that's why when Kvaratskhelia, for example, was available from Napoli, I said we need a Kvaratskhelia. Obviously, we didn't go for when PSG have done the deal, right? But you need that level of player to come in. Why can Saka thrive in this system, so to speak? You know, he looks apart. It's because he's a top player. Top players are the only way we're getting out of this if Arteta is going to stay. So if Arteta is going to stay, we have to be signing the players that are going to make a difference week in, week out. Jesus, this guy we cannot. This guy might be worse than Havertz at this point. Not in terms of ability, because it's night and day for me. Jesus, when he's from full flow, he's a better striker than Kai Havertz, right? But for me, you take out Jesus. I don't know what team's willing to sign him. But let's not expect anything from this guy, even if it's a loan. Just get him away. Don't register him for anything and go bring someone else to come in. And maybe we need 3 attackers. Honestly, Gyokeres and Mbuemo, and maybe a left winger as well. That's what I would say. 3 attackers in. Then I don't care what happens to Havertz. Martinelli and Trossard about. Noneri, he's doing this thing. And that's it. And this guy, he's gone home. Raheem Sterling has gone home. So we're caught in that situation, guys. We're caught in a situation where we need the club. If you're keeping Arteta as the manager, right? You're keeping him here. You're telling me he's a generational manager. He's going to win us every big trophy. I'm waiting. It's about 5 or 6 years since the guy's coming. I've not seen the big trophy yet. I'm just seeing the same thing every season. The same collapses, the same hard performances to watch a lot of the times. And once in a blue moon, we'll look good. Once in a blue moon, we'll look good. We'll look defensively solid. We'll look like we're doing something. We'll score a header. And I'm like, yeah, come on. Oh, we're cooking. But really and truly, if you're going to keep a manager like Mikel Arteta, guys, you have to buy the players to back him up. So right now, just thinking about it, Gyokeres and Mbuemo, as we said, that's not too much. That's less than the Isak money that we were talking about. And then you go and get a left winger as well. And no problem, then you keep Trossard. You keep Martinelli, you keep Havertz, and then you also have Merino. Obviously, for me, I prefer Merino up front, which is mad. which is mad because when in the middle, I feel like he gets caught out so much, his lack of athleticism. But when you put him up front, you don't have to rely on his pace or anything or having to turn too quickly. He can actually just use his, actually he's technically really good with the ball, and he's actually in the box of danger. So you do that, you do them signings. I don't think I'm even going to complain about Arteta at this point, because the reason I'm screaming Arteta this, Arteta that, is because every time I'm seeing us linked to another centre back, another goalkeeper. Where are the attackers? Get this man some attackers, top quality, and then listen, maybe the pressure will come off him because the players themselves, like a Saka, you know, will be able to do it. We can't just be relying every single game. Saka, you do something, please. And then nothing happens because we've absolutely killed the guy. You know, when we really needed Saka, let's say in the Champions League games against Real Madrid, he gave us everything and he put in those performances, right? Half fit. Right? But you can't rely on that every single game, man. You can't rely on that every single game. Let me have a look at some of your comments here, guys. Sammy here saying, would you take Leao? Leao, bro, I can't lie to you. I'm little 50-50 on him. Whether he would translate as a, you know, as a top signing. And again, it's funny, you talk about Leao, right? I feel like Leao's got that same sort of thing where the opposite of Mbuemo. We're talking about Mbuemo, he don't look, you know, the part, right? Just because of his trim. But Leao, he's got the, you know, he looks like the part. He plays for Milan. You know, he'll make a music video on the side. You know, he's a winger. But listen, I like him on his day. Very, very top player. Like, one of them players on his day, unplayable. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure right now if it's a good idea to sign someone like Leao. And maybe you just look at another option instead. I've heard Bayern Munich are linked with Leao. Potentially, it's funny. Leao, Elise, Kane, you know, Musiala. That could work for Bayern. That could work for Bayern. But in terms of Arsenal, I'm not saying no. It just depends on the deal. It depends on the deal. It's a hard one to actually, you know. Someone tell me £45 million Leao, I'm involved. You tell me now £75 million, not as involved. That's the only way I'll put it. Matheus is saying, if United get Mbuemo and we don't, I'm gonna flip. The Mbuemo one, as I said, it's gonna be annoying, man. It's gonna be annoying because for £50 million, you've got a backup to Saka, competition for Saka even, and someone who can play through the middle if needed as well. Someone who can do a job for us. So yeah, CBE here saying, that's the issue. Saka cannot be our best player. It says everything. And yeah, man, I love Saka. I think there's no issue Saka being our best player because me personally, I watched Saka since he's come in, and the kid, the way he plays, his game intelligence, the way he holds up the ball, his chance creation, I think he's a top player. And I think the one thing people don't even deep about Saka, the level of the team, when it increases, Saka also gets better. When he plays with better players, he goes to another level as well. You even see it with England, right? Obviously, it's a national team. It's not, you know, you don't train every day with the national team. But when you see Saka play for England, and he gets to play more inside, and he gets to have more, he has more freedom. Honestly, he has more freedom playing for England than for Arsenal, which is a bit sad. And I see the way he plays, and he's always the best player. He's always the best player. And he's playing on a team with Jude Bellingham, with Harry Kane, you know, so many top players like Cole Palmer, trying to breathe down his neck, the likes of Phil Foden, trying to, you know, get a position as well in the team, here and there. But Saka, each time he plays with these good players, with these top players, he just goes to another level. Every single time. When it's a big game, look at the Real Madrid games, guys. He's not even fit. And the guy's he's just turning it on. He's turning it on. He knows I have to turn it on. So for me, I think you get these top players around Saka. You get the players that can take the pressure off. The Gyokeres who will rely on him now to bag more goals. You get an Mbuemo who can come in and also bag goals, 20 goals this season for Brentford. You go and get another winger, left winger. As I said, we don't really know. People mentioning Leao. I'm not too sure which left winger. There's some on the market. Maybe the options are not as interested, because for me, my obsession was Kvaratskhelia. I know there was no links to Arsenal, but I was so obsessed. I said, yo, that was the one. That was the one. Now, I'm not too sure. Anthony Gordon, I've seen links as well. Yeah. But Saka, I'm telling you, you get these top players around him, you take the pressure off the team. As my guy here says, you know, he can't be up. He should, maybe it means, you know, when you say best player, other players need to be stepping up. You just take the pressure off him. Then we've got a player there, man. We've got someone who's going to go to another level, man. Yeah, Saka needs help, Sammy says here. Olawayinka says here, in as much as Mikel Arteta is still our manager, we can't win a major trophy. It's not about squad. It's about the manager, his mindset and all. So far, he has failed. Yeah, bro, I'm in agreement. I've said it. I said it before the season. This was the truth. Man City this year, we knew. We came coming into the season. We knew Man City. They're not gonna be cooking this year. We knew this was a season for Arsenal to win the league, and that's why it hurts more, right? As much as anyone will say it doesn't hurt, it doesn't matter. No. This season hurts for Arsenal fans, me especially, because I came into it believing that we were gonna win. And then you hear stats after the fact of the season when you've watched it with your own eyes where not one player this season for Arsenal has scored, 10 plus goals, if that makes sense, right? And you're watching that every single week. You're watching that sort of football week in, week out, and you're just sitting there just like, nah, this can't run, guys, man. This can't run, man. This can't keep running for another season. But as I said, the reason I'm talking about now signing these players, and I've got the players behind me, as you said, the Havertz and these other players in our attack, because at the end of the day, if you're keeping Arteta as a club, as Arsenal Football Club, you're keeping Mikel Arteta at the club. You believe this guy is the manager. Yes, he's not won the Premier League yet. He's not won the Champions League yet. At least buy the top players to help the team. And then from there we can see. If he still can't win with all of that done for him, then definitely, obviously, get rid. I think at that point, even the board would say, listen, sayonara. But just at least give him something if you're going to keep him. As I said, for me, 100%, I'll go bring in another manager. But the board themselves, this is your guy. Back him. Gyokeres and Mbuemo. We need a Xavi Simons as well. And Eze. There's players up there, bro. There's players out. There are players on the market. It's not like there's no players in football. Eze this season, I believe he's got a release clause of about £68 million. Xavi Simons, I'm pretty sure it's not even near £68 million you can get him in. And his agent is the son of David Dean. Like, he's already got an Arsenal link right there. There's an Arsenal link for Xavi Simons. So I think, guys, it's clear. Keep Arteta, bring in the top players. If you don't want to bring in all of these top players, new manager, please. New manager, new way of playing, and finding a manager who can get the best out of what we have, plus with a bit of additions here and there. So yeah, man, for me, guys, that's where I am today. I'm not going to drag this episode too long. I think we've had a very, very good stream. A lot of topics discussed here. We're going to be coming back with more and more streams as well, man. So yeah, big up everyone liking and subscribing. I think I saw a comment here saying, yeah, keep tick Langa. Hopefully I said your name right, bro. I'm so sorry if I butchered it. He said it's my first time to be here, but I liked your content, bro. Yeah, so big up, guys. Please, yeah, as I said, help the channel grow. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It does help the channel grow, and we're coming with more and more content, more lives as well. This is something that I was debating. Should we do live stream? Should we not? And I think, you know what, to be fair, I do enjoy the live stream and stuff. I like you guys commenting, and I get to talk as well at the same time. It's nice having a bit of a bounce back, So yeah, guys, big up everyone for the, for watching, for all the content, and yeah, for just being here. So yeah, big up, guys. Take care. And I'll just leave it there. Arsenal Football Club, please, just sign the players. Just sign the players. You're keeping Mikel, bro. Please, just bring him something. Take the pressure off Saka, as you guys are saying in the comments as well. But big up everyone. Take care and peace.